My sense is that you can make your life be whatever you want it to be. You might not be a designer, but you can succeed in whatever you want it to be.
There is a good chance that you know who this man is. And if you don't know who this is, you probably do know his clothing company. Or should I say fashion empire, because we're all familiar with the iconic logos this man's created. Truly an amazing company. But how did they achieve what they did? This man is Ralph Lauren, the founder of the Polo Ralph Lauren Corporation. Today, it's one of the biggest fashion brands in the world. It brings in an amazing annual revenue of around $6.5 billion. They obviously didn't build it overnight, but they must have done something very good over the years. We all know the brand and the clothing as it is today, but we don't all know how he got so big. What were the strategies, and how did he manage to create such a big brand? Welcome to Brand Rise, the channel where we ask, how did they do it? In our videos, we give you an insight into the actions a company took and the strategy they chose or devised and followed. Maybe you have a business, are thinking of starting one, or are just interested in this view of business. We hope we can all take away some valuable lessons and inspiration. We decided to do some research and dive a little deeper into the company's history, to tell you how he did it, and to reveal some of his ingenious strategies. We found some interesting strategies and actions that he took that I'm going to share with you today. This is the strategy behind the Polo Ralph Lauren Corporation. So before we get into why you're here, you need to know a little bit more about the history of the company and Ralph Lauren himself. Ralph Lauren was born in the Bronx, New York in 1939. Growing up, Ralph always had an eye for cool looks and was obsessed with clothes. His first jobs were in the fashion industry, and in fact, one of his early jobs is what led him to start his own company. While working these jobs, he gained a lot of knowledge about the industry and business. Eventually, Ralph envisioned starting his own clothing line because he was unsatisfied with men's fashions in the 1960s.
Everything I've always done has been for my own emotion, and it was never done for a brand or a label. It's because I feel it. And when you give it a title, then it sort of takes it away from me.
He used to work for Bloomingdale's, which is a big fashion warehouse. After starting his own clothing line with handmade ties, he was able to convince the company in 1969 to let him sell his products exclusively. In fact, it was the first time Bloomingdale's had ever given a designer his own in-store boutique. I even found the original newspaper article about the announcement. This is where it all started. To answer the question and reveal and explain some of the strategies and actions, I delved into the company's journey. I have listed the 3 most interesting actions and will explain them so that we can all learn from them. Number 1. Initially, one of the smartest things Ralph envisioned for the company was how he wanted to profile the brand. The brand has developed a high level of customer loyalty and is a highly recognized brand. In other words, a lot of people know and recognize the brand. You could also say that the clothes have a kind of status. This is obviously important and beneficial to the brand. But how did they achieve this? To understand that, you have to understand how the brand is profiled and how profiling a brand works. Polo Ralph Lauren is an upper-class premium brand with really good quality garments, real craftsmanship. It has a fitted shape, fits well, and has a good style. The brand is focused on the upper-class people who have more than the average to spend. The clothes cost more than the competition, but the quality is also on a higher level than most competitors. Also, Lauren's clothes are iconic and timeless. Finally, it's important to note that Ralph Lauren has managed to get a lot of famous people to wear his clothes. All of this contributes to the brand's image and status. As a result, there's a high demand for the brand, and people are willing to pay a slightly higher price for its clothing. The advantage of this is that Ralph Lauren's products have a higher margin, resulting in bigger profits. And bigger profits mean more money to invest in things like bigger marketing campaigns. Ralph Lauren is someone who understands these things and knows how to build a brand. Investing in advertising and celebrities to wear your products creates more demand and higher value for your product. The clothing is not really easy to afford for the normal middle class and lower class family, because let's be honest, it costs enough, and some things can be quite expensive. But the brand's target audience has always been the upper class, and they have that kind of money to spend. Because of the excellent branding, the all-American, classic, timeless look of the clothes, and the status that this has given the brand, there has always been a great demand from the class of people that can afford these clothes. Lauren's focus is their menswear line, but that is definitely not the only thing they create. They have created a whole lifestyle brand with a lot of products. This means more products to sell to your already loyal customers. In addition to all kinds of men's and women's clothing, they also sell things like fragrances, home decor like blankets and lighting, and lots of accessories like scarves, sunglasses, and wallets. Some of these products are sold under different sub-brands, each focusing on its own specialty. Number 2. Moving on to the second thing that stood out. Accessibility and brand awareness were two things that were really important to Lauren. To support this, he came up with a clever distribution mix strategy. It became part of his strategy to get his product and brand into as many relevant places as possible, which meant opening more stores and getting the product into other relevant places. Ralph Lauren now has a lot of physical locations where you can find his products. We found that there are approximately 1,300 locations worldwide where you can find the products. Of these locations, approximately 500 are self-owned by the Polo Ralph Lauren Corporation. These locations are spread across more than 100 countries around the world. This focus over the decades has been good for promoting the brand and, above all, has made its products much more accessible, especially as the internet didn't exist at the time. The clothes and stores owned by the Ralph Lauren Corporation have the same look, a luxurious, timeless, elegant, and classic look. For the Ralph Lauren Corporation, opening company-owned stores proved to be the most effective strategy in the past and still is today. People like to buy the clothes directly from the brand, rather than from a third party. Ralph Lauren reports that around 63% of its total sales come from direct-to-customer channels. That's why they've decided to focus more on these channels. They plan to reduce the number of department stores and have announced plans to open 250 additional company-owned stores over the next few years. The lesson we can take from this is that it is really important to get your product to your target audience. They are the ones who can buy your product. For Lauren, this also took years. It wasn't until 1981 that he opened his first store outside of the United States, which was in London. To give you some context, he opened his first store in 1972 on Rodeo Drive in Beverly Hills, California. But the bigger you can do it, the more products you can sell. Of course, this depends on the quality of the locations, a good product, and your branding. It remains important to consistently evaluate this so you can manage it. Years later, in 2000, Lauren launched his website called Polo.com. This made his products and brand visible online. This also fitted in with his strategy of being available and visible in as many places as possible. The advantage for Ralph Lauren having his own website is that he can control the customer experience and the feel of the site. Number 3. Ralph Lauren's marketing strategy is impressive, and the way it has achieved success is worth emulating. The company is known for its marketing campaigns, and this is something that other companies, entrepreneurs, and marketers can learn from. Marketing involves a variety of methods to attract customer attention, and this has been done in more ways than we have discussed. Ralph Lauren's marketing campaigns are based on its iconic, fashionable clothing line that has already gained widespread popularity. Over the years, Ralph Lauren has invested considerable sums in promoting its brand through marketing campaigns. The results of these have been significant. Ralph began by sponsoring and investing heavily in celebrity campaigns and events to raise brand awareness. Ralph Lauren has partnered with celebrities such as David Beckham, Kate Moss, and Gigi Hadid as part of his brand-building strategy. He also dressed the male cast of the 1974 film The Great Gatsby, making his brand a national phenomenon. These collaborations give the brand an exclusive, high-status feel that captures the imagination of customers who want to emulate this style of their favorite icons. Ralph Lauren sponsors major events such as the US Open, Wimbledon, and the Met Gala to enhance the brand's prestige and visibility. In addition, Lauren increases brand awareness by participating in fashion shows, such as the New York and Milan Fashion Week, by associating with and participating in events and groups that share its values. Ralph Lauren strengthens its connection with customers and builds its esteemed image. Currently, the company is the official outfitter of all on-court officials at the Wimbledon and US Open tennis tournaments. It is also the official outfitter of the United States Olympic and Paralympic teams. These events and celebrities were all carefully selected to reach Ralph Lauren's target audience and interests. In fact, most of them are sports or fashion-related, values that the company values highly. But Ralph Lauren's journey hasn't always been pleasant. He had a pretty tough time in the 1980s. On April 1987, he was diagnosed with a brain tumor. This must have been a difficult time for him and his loved ones.
When I came home from the hospital, and I took a walk in Central Park, and I was very weak. And I saw some guys running in the park, running and sweating. I said to myself, I want to do that. I can't wait to do that. I couldn't believe I was going to do that again. It was truly, I don't even think I said it to anybody. I remember just seeing these guys running as I had done, as I would run around the park in Central Park 3-4 times and sweat and then go back home.
You just wanted that feeling again.
I wanted that feeling. I didn't believe I was going to have that feeling again.
After a successful surgery, he turned his experience and wealth into a force for good. He became an active supporter of cancer research and made a truly important and positive impact. According to some research, Ralph Lauren has donated tens of millions of dollars with or without his companies. He's also started a charity called Pink Pony. When you buy something from this line, 25% of the revenue goes to the charity. Ralph Lauren likes to give back because he also donates a lot of clothes and money to other organizations and charities. Ralph doesn't see himself as a philanthropist. He says that he's not a big fan of the word. He says it all comes from the heart. If you made it to this part of the video, thank you. We found that there is so much more to tell you about Ralph Lauren's strategies. The ones we discussed today were the ones that stood out. We hope you found some good takeaways and inspiration to apply to your own journey. Of course, there is much more going on behind the scenes at Polo Ralph Lauren Corporation than we have discussed in this video. If you would like to see a part 2 on this company, let us know in the comments. Stay tuned for more episodes on topics like this. Don't forget to like and subscribe as well to support us. Fast forward to today, and Ralph Lauren's legacy continues to thrive. He stepped down as CEO of the company in 2015, but remains a part of the company. With global recognition, over 10,000 employees, and over $6 billion in annual sales, Ralph Lauren's impact on fashion and culture is undeniable. Ralph Lauren is truly a fashion tycoon. That concludes this episode of the story behind Ralph Lauren's fashion empire. Let us know what you thought was the most interesting fact in this video. Subscribe for more of the stories behind the content, and we'll see you next time.